relationship of domain and IP address, it would take around 24 hours to populate the data around the world if it is set correctly. Our system also provides DNS server functionalities. You can decide the DNS server on the system itself or from the other places. There is a command nslookup on any Windows PC to check if a domain name can be resolved. The following example is to use nslookup to check www.yahoo.com, /documents and settings /user nslookup default server, dns1.snfcca.sbcglobal.net address, 206.13.28.12 www.yahoo.com server, dns1.snfcca.sbcglobal.net address, 206.13.28.12 non-authoritative answer, name, www.yahoo.akadns.net addresses, 66.94.230.47, 66.94.230.75, 66.94.230.32, 66.94.230.36, 66.94.230.37, 66.94.230.39, 66.94.230.42, 66.94.230.44 aliases, www.yahoo.com exit. In general, you can set primary DNS server and secondary DNS server. For the sake of stability, you should put primary DNS and secondary DNS in different places. For example, if you use the service from www.xname.org for primary DNS, you should not put secondary DNS in the same place to avoid service outage at the same time. If you only have one server, SIP server, email server, or website, sitting in the internet, you probably do not care the stability of DNS queries when your only server, SIP/email/web, is down. In this case, you might as well to set primary DNS and secondary DNS to the same physical server. Public IP address and private IP address. Other than naming and addressing issues, you might have other concerns. For example, you want to set up a server that will be known to the other hosts on the internet, like www or mail. In the meanwhile, you have several other PCs that you are going to use them to browse the internet, but those PCs are not like www or mail server that will be seen from the internet. And you only have one fixed public IP address. How do you settle this kind of issues? The Usage Network Address Translation, NAT, is introduced. It allows machines in the private network can share one public IP address by mapping those connections into some logic ports. We will go over more details on that. You might notice we use the term public IP address or private IP address. What is the difference between them? Actually, private IP address space means the IP address in the following range, 192.168.0.0, 192.168.255.255, usually denoted as 192.168.0.0/16, 172.16.0.0, 172.31.255.255, 172.16.0.0/12, 10.0.0.0.255.255.255, 10.0.0.0/8, it is the address space allocated for the private network. And those IP addresses are forbidden to use in the public network. With this private IP address space, it allows people with more flexibility to do network design, and it shall be only used within an enterprise. Initial network setting. The system can be configured via the web browser on the other PC. You can plug in the Ethernet cable from your PC to one of the LAN ports of the server. The PC should obtain an IP address via DHCP from server directly. The server is with DHCP server running on its LAN Ethernet ports. So, you should have your PC with DHCP client, obtaining IP address automatically, running. DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, is the protocol that the client can obtain some basic network setting, like IP address, from the server. In our setting, your PC should obtain an IP address at the range 172.16.x.x with the IP address of server's LAN Ethernet port as default gateway. The server is equipped with at least two Ethernet ports. One, ETH0, is connecting to WAN, the other, ETH1, is connecting to LAN. And Network Address Translation, NAT, is working to change the source IP address in the IP header from the packets originating from any machine sitting in LAN. The LAN Ethernet port is with DHCP server running, whereas the WAN Ethernet port is with DHCP client running when the machine is started up at the first time with the factory setting unchanged. Configure via web browser. The second Ethernet port, ETH1, of the server is running with DHCP server. Thus, if your PC is with DHCP client running and connecting to that second Ethernet port via cross-wired cable or switch, the PC should obtain an IP address via DHCP. Please keep your network environment clean at this moment without putting other networking device on this network to make sure there is only one DHCP server. Otherwise, you will be confused. Once your PC obtains an IP address from server, try http://server_IP_address 8082/apps/login, admin, password, admin123, this is admin account from web interface. You are required to change the password at the first time you access that page. But what is the server IP address? If you plug in the cable according to what we suggest on ETH1, you can use http://172.16.9.1:8082/apps/ if you plug into the other LAN Ethernet port other than ETH1, you might check the IP address of your default gateway. If you are connecting from one side, you need to find out server's IP address from other DHCP server or the setting previously defined during installation. You will be asked to change the host name and admin password at the first time you log into the system. It is required to enter our predefined admin password, admin123, and the new password you are going to set and retype the new password to confirm it. If you fail to connect to server in this way, you might just consider using console. You can just log into the server from console by typing login, reset password, root 123, this can only be used on console, however, it is advised that you should use web interface to configure the server. This console interface only allows you to set static IP address of one Ethernet port. You will see the screen similar to the following: one IP address, 192.168.19.1852 netmask, 255.255.255.03 default gateway, 192.168.19.14 save and reboot 5 reset to initial CD setting, DHCP, and reboot 6 view current active value 7 exit without saving changes 8 reset firewall setting only and reboot option 1, 2, and 3 is for you to set IP address on the interface ETH0, 1 port, so that you can use the web browser to continue the configuration. After you set the correct data on option 1, 2, and 3, you can use 4 to save the result and reboot the machine. You can just use arrow keys to move to the items you are going to modify and hit enter key on the keyboard.